Well, joining us now on the program, let's get an agronomic update from the Eastern Corn Belt. He is retail sales agronomist for Brevant Seeds. Jonathan Howe is with us here today on the show. Jonathan, it's good to catch up with you again, man. Hope all is well as you get into a busy time here for harvest season.
Of course, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me on today. And yeah, it's that time of year. Excited and interested to see how things will pan out here in these couple months.
Absolutely. Well, we got a lot of things to talk about today, and I know you cover a lot of Indiana. Let's talk about how this growing season has been. And I've heard a lot of talk about the Eastern Corn Belt and some of the challenges we've had. Let's start with tar spot. I'd love to ask you about that. What did tar spot pressure look like in your area this season, Jonathan?
So this has been a unique year in comparison to the last couple of years. Traditionally, tar spot wasn't really a problem in Southwest Indiana where I work. Over the past few years, it's grown more and more prevalent, and we've had the conditions to make it do so. But this year, it was a different story. It did move all the way down through the state and make it to the Ohio River. But uniquely enough, while it did spread around in patches, it never blew up this year like it has in years past. A lot of that had to do with some weather conditions and things of that nature that were different this year than in years past.
Well, how has Brevant brand corn performed against tar spot? Talk about that a little bit for us.
So it's been a really good opportunity for us to look at farms and try new products, specifically because Brevant corn has had an advantage with tar spot based on breeding that goes back a long, long time. Coming from the Corteva genetic platform, we have genetics that just naturally do better with tar spot. They have a better resistance to it. A lot of that has to do with breeding programs that are based out of areas that may differ from other breeders, such as South American corn, that is naturally more resistant to that tar spot disease. You can see it in plots, you can see it on the hillsides, especially in areas that are corn on corn or have previously had tar spot. The visible signs are very clear. These products are really working. A couple of them that we've looked at here in the past few years, 13K20, 17Z18, they just look pretty, even when they have a pretty stressy tar spot year. So it's been excellent to watch those products excel, and looking forward to our brand continuing to breed towards more resilience, more tolerance towards this disease, because as of now, it's not going anywhere. It's residing year over year in our plant tissue in the ground, so we need to find better ways to fight it.
Well, I have to think seed selection plays an important role here as well in combating tar spot and other diseases. I talk about the importance of selecting the right seed for your acres here, Jonathan.
That is a huge component to any disease. And I think it definitely comes down to talking to that local ag retailer and hopefully your RSA. So you can have that conversation on what diseases have we dealt with in the previous years, maybe what has been moving in that we haven't had to deal with before, and looking at those ratings on all of these hybrids, because we have a ton of research going into every hybrid, whether it be new or old, things to come down the line. All have great numbers, great product advancements that have happened over the last few years to fight specific diseases. So spending that time to look at your acre and look at the diseases that are most prevalent is a great idea. I know here in Southwest Indiana, we've traditionally needed a product that can really handle diseases like gray leaf spot and southern rust. And we've had products that are very strong in those categories excel. Well, now we're going to need those products to bring on board more resistance to tar spot, because it's going to come in our neighborhood and be another player that we're going to have to fight over the years to come.
We're talking with Jonathan Howe, retail sales agronomist for Brevant Seeds in Indiana. What else should farmers keep in mind to help defend their fields from tar spot and all the other diseases and challenges that we have out there, Jonathan?
Definitely. The number one component, in my opinion, is an uncontrollable, but it's something that we can learn from every year. Weather has a huge factor in what diseases we see, the rate that they spread, and the effects they have on our crop. Tar spot, for example, loves to hit when the temperatures are in between 60 and 70 degrees, humidity is at 75 to 90%, that's when we see those explosive growths of that tar spot in our area. Lucky for us this year, we had really high temperatures during the daytime and nighttime during tissue growing season. And we also had periods of extremely high relative humidity. And then over these last 2 months, it's dropped down super low through the drought we've had in this area. So we've had conditions to avoid that disease, but this taught us when those conditions aren't here, we'll have years like the previous 2 years where it explodes. So watching that weather, tracking your rainfall through the year, expecting an average annual rainfall is a good idea to make predictions on what you'll need for your next move. Beyond that and beyond seed selection, it is really important, in my opinion, to talk to either your ag retailer or your own farm operations manager about applying fungicides to your crop. Fungicides make an incredible difference on our ability to battle these diseases in combination with a product that has great ratings and a great fungicide that fits the diseases you're targeting. You could bring your crop up way more than anything else we've done in previous years. So definitely need to focus on fungicide management on top of that seed selection and also on top of watching that weather for conditions that are rolling in. Another resource that
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say you were going to talk about some resources. What are some of those resources, Jonathan?
Yeah, so one that I've been very excited about over the past 2 years, Brevant has done a great job at managing a disease tracker. This tracker gives relevant and timely information through email to where you can see which counties have been affected by certain diseases. You can see what people are doing to manage those diseases in the area and the spread and the speed that those diseases are moving at. Very handy information in season. I would love for you to go to your ag retailer or your RSA. They can share you a link to join that email lineup, and you will have timely current information that's relevant to your area. Beyond that, there are many of crop consulting or crop advancement firms you can check out online that do have county by county disease trackers that you can use to follow that continuum throughout the year and have a good idea of what you can see throughout the year. And lastly, I would say just scouting fields. That's such a big proponent, and it can get lost over time as farms grow bigger and bigger. But spending the time to look at your crop, get eyes on your fields, not just the outside rows, but really dive deep into that field and see what diseases you have can pay very big margins for you, just being able to physically see what's in the field.
Well, a lot of great resources. And I know as well, too, we should mention Brevant.com. A lot of great content is available there and on Brevant social media and more, and contact information if folks want to reach out directly with questions and more. So I know as well, Brevant.com is a great place to start too, isn't it, Jonathan?
Yes, another great resource. And they've got a lot of continuing education that a person can pull from there, always adding new, more advanced information that we need to keep up with the diseases and the crop pests that we deal with today.
Should ask you before we wrap up here as well, just final thoughts. You know, we touched on tar spot and corn, for instance, but any other thoughts on the overall growing season in your territory, whether it be corn or soybeans, Brevant brand products, etc.? Anything else you would add as we get into the heart of harvest season here, Jonathan?
Yeah, the only addition I have to that is it has been an extremely unique growing season where some areas saw record rain in the spring, some areas have gone through 40 to 50-day droughts, and then some areas have had a perfect year and have their best crop ever. So I just highly suggest not basing your ideal of your crop on people who are far away. Look at your local area to set expectations, and also, knowing what we've seen this year, we'll probably expect the first part of crop to come off to be our best crop, especially with the dry finish we had, and do see some of this later stuff probably lagging down just to set expectations looking into this year. But it was definitely a learning year for everybody. Saw a lot of great things and saw things that need to improve as we move forward. So have been very happy with results this year that we've had so far on yields, and looking forward to what we're taking off here in the coming weeks.
Well, again, folks can learn more by going online to Brevant.com. With that, retail sales agronomist for Brevant Seeds covering Indiana, Jonathan Howe. Thanks for joining us here on the show. Always good to hear from you, and we'll wish you a safe and happy harvest season.
Awesome. Thank you, Jesse. Same to you.